In this part 3 of this discussion, let's review where we're doing. We're computing all the expenses on a monthly basis that you can deduct from what we came up with your monthly income under these formulas. We've went through on this first category where I have the arrow and on down, and we've picked up a lot of information from your paychecks, your payroll sheets. Now let me go on down here and look at this one here. Term life insurance. A lot of employees, and probably you pay for term insurance out of your paycheck. The limitation on it is you can deduct, if you and your wife are the debtors, you can deduct the cost of the term insurance for you and your wife, because both your incomes are being included in this computation. You cannot deduct the cost of term insurance for your children, only for the people that are actually filing, the husband and wife. But you know, term insurance is usually inexpensive, but we want to get every nickel of expense we can, because it may be important, it may be outcome determinative to helping you substantially qualify for Chapter 7 or qualify for a preferred Chapter 13. Now the next category, that bears some discussion too. If you're renting, they will give you a standard amount, and in one of the videos I'll explain, if you want to know, where you can find these numbers. But if you'll notice, this is the first column where it says standard deduction. Yes, they don't ask you what your specific monthly rental is for your apartment or condominium or mobile home or whatever. They give you a standard amount, and that's based on where you live. And I'll show you in the video where these numbers come from. So you don't have to worry about that. That's going to be a standard number. Now, let's take your mortgage payments. If you'll notice, I have future highlighted, bold printed, and then I've got total money divided by 60. Let me give you an example. Let's say you got a 30-year loan and you pay $800 a month. Well, over the 60 months, that's 5 years, over the 60 months, from the date you file on into the future for 60 months, what would your payment be? Well, it would be your monthly mortgage payment that you make times 60. And you'll total all those dollars up, and then you'll divide by 60. Well, that's your monthly mortgage payment. However, let's take a second mortgage that you've got on the house, but you've only got 36 months left on that second mortgage. You're going to total up the amount of money, the dollars that you'll pay during the 60 months. Well, you're only going to pay it for 36 months. So you take your monthly payment times 36 divided by 60. So you see, you come up with a little bit less of an expense because you're taking a 36 month of payments and dividing it by 60. It works the same way on auto payments. Let's say that you've got 4 years left on your automobile payment. Well, you're going to take your monthly payment times 48. That's what you got left on payments. And then you're going to divide by 60. So if you have a 5-year loan left, then you know your monthly payment, you'll be able to deduct the full amount of your payment. The next one is the same way. Let's say that you've got a boat and you've got 3 years left on making boat payments, on your loan payments. You would take the monthly payment times the number of payments you have left times 60, or divided by 60. That's your average monthly payment during the 5-year period. So as you can see, sometimes when clients come into me and we come up short, I'll say, well, part of the problem is you've only got just a few months left on your car payment. And when we're averaging that over that 60-month period, you're not getting much benefit out of that expense category. So what you might think about doing, since maybe the car's worn out and it needs to be replaced, Maybe you'll want to buy a car and get the payments set before you file bankruptcy. That's part of the planning that you and I will do to make sure that we're doing the bankruptcy in a way that's in your best interest. The Eighth Circuit Court of Appeals in St. Louis, all of the court opinions that I can show you have approved you and I planning your bankruptcy so that it comes out in your best interest. We're not doing anything illegal. As I'd mentioned in one of the videos, in the original 2005 amendments, they wanted to make it a felony for me to explain this to you. So maybe it would be in your best interest to take on a car debt so that you'll have the lower payment in Chapter 13. All of this is legal, and thank God it is. We can plan for it. When you come in to visit with me, if you're wanting to file Chapter 13, it would be extremely helpful if part of the information that you bring into me includes what your monthly car payment is and how many months of payments you have left. Call your lender and ask him, say, hey, how many more payments do I have left? That way, when you come into the office, we can run the numbers to see how this will work in your favor. On these statutory deductions, on what you get to include, they have a standard category for what it costs to operate a vehicle. And if your vehicle is 6 years old or has 75 or more thousand miles on it, whatever the standard deduction is, then we get to add $200 on per month because of the age and mileage of the car. Now, here's some limitations that you need to deal with on this. Let's say you're a single person filing. You can only deduct this operating expense for one vehicle. If it's a husband and wife filing, we can deduct for two vehicles. Now, let's take an example. Let's say there's 2 cars in your family, and you also have a motorcycle, and you drive the motorcycle some days to work. We cannot include the expense for the motorcycle. We are limited to 2 vehicles. Now, at the same time, let's assume that both your cars, you have 2 cars, and one car is 6 years old, and the other car is 3 years old, but it has more than 75,000 miles. Well, since we can claim $200 extra for each of those cars, we've got $400 plus the cost of operation expense that they give you. So if your cars are older, it will really help us on this expense category. Now, the next and the last series of these expenses, we're going to get into those in the next video. Thank you.